headed for your approval. A starship on routine assignment, a captain immune to no one's will, and a princess whose tears rewrite reality.
Step into tomorrow. The ride of your life. The future of driving begins tonight.
Petri, the somewhat fussy Troyan ambassador, says the next step is to pick up the dolmen, the person most feared and hated by Trojans. The dolmen is a small woman, Elaan, the ruler of Elas.
Kirk, some desk-bound Starfleet bureaucrat cut these cloak and dagger orders. Scott, aye, but why the secrecy? This star system's under Federation control. Captain, sensors indicate. Repetition in the stellar patterns. A minor anomaly. Yet logically, it suggests we've traversed this vector precisely 4.7 times in the last...
From what I've seen, it's not worth fighting about. Why are we here, Captain? My orders are to cooperate with Ambassador Petri in all matters pertaining to his mission here. All I know is we're to transport the Dolmen of Elas, a woman said to possess a power that drives men mad. Save it, Mr. Spock. I've heard the math. We're not charting a loop, we're breaking one.
Jim, if this is what I think it is, some psychological snare from that planet below, your brain's gonna be Swiss cheese before we dock. Well, I've heard of reluctant brides, but this is ridiculous.
Bridge to Captain Kirk. So the Enterprise must proceed back to Troyius at the slowest speed possible.
Upon her arrival on the Enterprise, it is clear that the dolmen, Elaan, is an arrogant and reluctant bride. She arrived with guards who bristled with weaponry, their faces like stone.
The scientists who made the initial investigation reported the men were vicious and arrogant. Now the women, they're supposed to be something very special. Mystical powers that drives men wild. Our first passenger was Petri, the fussy ambassador from Troyius. He warned us of the dolmen, Elaan, ruler of Elas. For the love of all that is gaudy and glittery, please just take her. That creature, Elaan, is to be the wife of our ruler to bring peace. Our two warring planets now possess the capability of mutual destruction. Some method of coexistence must be found.
You rule this ship? I am the first officer, Captain Kirk. Elaan herself was a storm in human form, her eyes flashing with contempt for us all. Dolmen Elaan, the Enterprise is at your service. This? Metal Cage, your vaunted starship? It reeks of repetition, Captain, as if its walls have witnessed my arrival 1,000-fold.
A single tear, luminous and profound, escapes Elaan's eye, a comet of sorrow descending through the air. Her tears. As it falls, the tear explodes into infinite mirrored reflections, spreading a labyrinth of light and fractured images across the room.
Dolmen, please. These are symbols of refinement, and this gown blue as Troyan skies, and the necklace, the most prized royal jewel for your lovely neck.
Swine, take back your gifts. I would strangle if I was to put the gift of a Trojan dog around my neck. Crichton, by whose permission did he enter? I want nothing of his.
I have negotiated with kings and gods, Captain, but I have never. My back is as stiff as this collar. Kirk's face contorts in silent horror, a scream trapped within his features as he witnesses the uncanny spectacle. I cannot do it, Captain. She is impossibly arrogant, violent, Petri retorted.
Ambassador, this is supposed to be a peaceful mission. On the USS Enterprise bridge, Kirk stands as ghostly duplicates of himself act out the same resistance in a repeating circle.
Spock and McCoy appear distorted, their faces fading in and out like echoes, as Kirk's log echoes in his mind. As if I've logged this entry before, many times.
Spock's logical explanation is cut short by Kirk's grim resolve. We're not charting a loop, we're breaking one. Did you touch one of her tears? McCoy warns of psychological snares, as Kirk asks.
With haunting premonition, then why does it feel like we've already failed?
Kirk arrives to find Elaan throwing a fit. Petrie is there trying to placate her with wedding gifts. A pair of embroidered slippers, a shimmering blue gown, and an antique folk art necklace he calls the most prized of royal jewels for your lovely.
Spock picks up unusual energy readings and finds they're coming from her necklace, which is strung with uncut dilithium crystals. She explains that the white beads are common stones called radans, and that the necklace is of little value other than its traditional meaning of good fortune.
A single tear, not of sorrow, but of enslavement. One drop to bind the heart, and the will is no longer his own. In the Twilight Zone.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to reach the center of a mystery?
1, 2, 3.
The world may never know.
In her quarters, Elaan's fury explodes as she hurls a pillow against the wall. The soft impact a poor match for her rage. Petrie stands, wringing his hands, a picture of helplessness as he pleads, "Please, Elaan, accept these gifts as tokens of peace."
Peace? Your soft customs offend me. I am no fawn needing pillows. These quarters cramped, echoing with ghosts of complaints past. Summon your captain. He understands resistance. Briefly.
Kirk strides in, his patience wearing thin, a stern warning cutting through the tension. "I will fill the room with breakables if it will stop these destructive outbursts." In the corridor, Petrie blocks Kirk, his face twisted with hatred, his words sharp as daggers. "This mission is a fool's errand. The Elasians are nothing but treacherous savages. I hate them, Captain. Elasians arrogant murderers. I cannot teach her civility. Every lesson loops back to violence. I want to end them. End this. Then drop the diplomacy, Ambassador. Be strong, straightforward, like Elas, before we all forget which cycle we're on."
I have a plan. With this ship, you could completely obliterate Troyius. Then there will be no need for the marriage. And in gratitude, my people will give you the complete rule of this system.
Intriguing. My sensors register a ghost signature, intangible yet persistent, as if the ship itself is remembering.
Spock subtly scans their surroundings with his tricorder, sensing an anomaly in the air. Jim, it's her. That mystical power. It's not just wild. It's a snare, binding minds in knots we can't untie. How many times have we walked this hall? Captain, I am detecting a peculiar energy signature. It appears to be a ghost of some past event resonating within the ship's structure.
McCoy studies Kirk with a worried frown, cautioning, "Jim, be careful. Elaan's mystical power is strong. It binds, not only minds, but also blurs perceptions."
Kirk, trying to defuse the situation, replies, "Petrie, you must be strong, straightforward, like Elas herself, before we all forget which cycle we're in. Too many bones, far too many."
Elaan, regal and aloof, enters the engine room. Her guards a silent vanguard as her eyes scan the machinery with cold assessment.
Scotty's jaw tightens as Elaan demands. I want to know about this ship's combat capabilities. Spare me the pleasantries. I have no time for inferiors.
Kirk steps forward, his voice a low warning. "Elaan, I must warn you. Show respect to the officers and crew of this vessel, or you will find yourself confined to the brig."
A single tear betrays Elaan's facade, just as Kirk is struck by a wave of disorientation, the engine's hum intensifying.
A single tear betrays Elaan's facade just as Kirk is struck by a wave of disorientation, the engine's hum intensifying. A blood-curdling scream pierces the chaos as Petrie lies lifeless in Elaan's quarters, a knife protruding from his back, a dark stain blooming around him.
Scott, to Spock. It's stabilized now. McCoy enters. McCoy. Spock, I've isolated the biochemical substance of the Elasian tears. It's a kind of an infection, and I think I found an antidote. Spock. You are too late, Doctor. The captain has found his own antidote. And McCoy. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? Do you know how long I've worked on? Spock. The antidote to a woman of Elas, Doctor, is a starship. The Enterprise infected the captain long before the Dolmen did.
Spock. Sabotage confirmed. Dilithium integrity at 23%. But, Captain, the chronometer, it's rewinding. Kirk. Not the ship, Spock. Us. We're the ghost. Trapped in her tears. Elaan, whisper. Choose, Captain. Repeat or end.
In her cramped quarters, Elaan brazenly feasts on replicated meat, washing it down with Saurian brandy straight from the bottle. So, Petrie is going to recover? That is too bad. You have delivered your message. Now you may go. Petrie will recover, but he renounces his mission and wants absolutely nothing further to do with Kirk.
2 hulking guards stand sentinel, their imposing presence adding to the room's oppressive atmosphere. Meanwhile, Crichton sneaks into engineering and performs acts of sabotage on the dilithium crystals. Watson, an engineer, catches him in the act, and Crichton kills him by snapping his neck.
Elan's eyes flash with defiance as Kirk speaks, a silent declaration of war. I insist on proper etiquette, Your Highness. There must be order.
Elaan scoffs, her voice dripping with disdain. The Troyans, I scoff at them. I will not marry.
In the sterile sickbay, Petrie writhes on the biobed, his bandages stark against his pallid skin. Asked by Nurse Chapel why any man would want an Elasian bride if they act like this.
Petrie explains that it is biochemical. Any man whose skin is touched by the tears of an Elasian woman immediately falls in love with her forever.
McCoy, studying his instruments, remarks grimly, "This wound is similar to one I've treated before, but the energy signature is distinctly Elasian."
Enchanted, enslaved, looping in her thrall. I renounce it all. No more mission. No more this. Wedding? It's a farce in a bottle. And you, Captain, you'll learn. Her tears, they rewrite you.
You don't walk away, Ambassador. The High Commissioner's en route to Troyius. The wedding proceeds. Or the Klingons pick our bones from the border. When Kirk tries to visit Elaan again, he is kept out by her guards, but has had the forethought to bring Spock, who nerve stuns the guards long enough to let Kirk in. Kirk yells at her and demands that she accept the orders she's been given as laid out by the Elasian and Troyan councils, letting some of his own irritation with councils, rulers, and bureaucrats.
Then I'll teach you myself. Basic etiquette. Step by step, until it sticks. Unlike everything else. In her quarters, Elaan forces a tear, a calculated weapon. That's all you men of other worlds can speak of. Duty and responsibility. Time warps as she flicks the droplet towards Kirk. A deliberate act of emotional warfare.
The tear grazes his sleeve, unleashing a torrent of visions within Kirk's mind. Surrender, vows, infinite echoes.
Alarms blare as Kirk, jolted back to reality, clutches his phaser, his face a mask of anger. How many times has this happened?
Elaan's chilling resolve fills the room. It will happen as many times as it takes until peace is forgotten.
Dilithium integrity percent. But Captain, it's rewinding.
Open road, the promise of escape. But some destinations lead not to freedom, but to terror. The Twilight Zone.